Parliamentarians in the National Assembly are scheduled to consider the Section 89 Independent Experts Report on the Phala saga. Yesterday, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Zungula, declined a second request and appealed, and this is an appeal from the ATM to have a secret ballot voting procedure. Newsroom Africa's Artem Tongana joins us live now from Parliament, this ahead of the afternoon proceedings. Artie, good morning to you. It's no secret that opposition parties are not united when it comes to this debate in the afternoon. So what hope is there that this is going to succeed, that they get President Cyril Ramaphosa at least a debate going around whether or not he should be impeached?
A very good morning to you, Goli. Well, I think in this context, I have the perfect person to answer that particular question regarding opposition parties, considering that they are the ones who have inevitably brought all of us here, including, of course, the National Assembly, which will today convene. I presume this is a special sitting, Goli, because they would have now been close to resuming the business of Parliament, but because these are unprecedented times for Parliament, they've even decided to move from the precinct behind me to the Cape Town City Hall. That's how special the sitting is, so that all members of the National Assembly can actually physically sit and get to consider the Section 89 Independent Panel's expert report on the Phala saga. I have the ATM, Vuyolwethu Zungula. Thank you so much for your time. You are the perfect person to respond to this question that Goli is posing about the unity or the lack thereof of opposition parties in the National Assembly regarding this matter.
The opposition parties are united. You'll recall that we had a press conference, and a week ago we also released a statement. So those 11 opposition political parties that were speaking in one voice in terms of holding the president accountable, nothing has changed. The other parties that were not initially part of that forum, well, we've never counted them to be part of this particular forum. Otherwise, from those 11 political parties, nothing has changed. We are still saying the president must account today, the report must be adopted, so that South Africans can see that what truly transpired in Phala, and Parliament is doing its work of holding the executive accountable.
Now, let's talk about the Speaker's response yesterday in relation to your second request, if you may call it that, because it was not your first attempt to get her to get this process done through means of a secret ballot. Again, declining it.
What the Speaker did not address in that particular letter was the issues that we raised, because we raised the issue of the intimidation and the threats that are very evident in the ANC NEC statement, in the articulations of the Minister of Energy, Mr. Mantashe, and the Chief Whip of the majority party. She responded with other issues that were not raised. So hence in the evening again, we responded to the Speaker and we said, Speaker, these are the issues that we need you to respond to. Only then you'll satisfy us if you address those particular issues.
And did she respond after that? Because, it's quite clear, even hearing from the NEC, that ANC MPs should vote a certain way, which is obviously against the adoption of the report. Did she then respond further to that?
There is no responses yet. However, we are still going to engage her, because it is our belief that the Constitutional Court ruling that encourage members of Parliament to always vote in the interest of the country and not to be confined by their party loyalty, there is no better time to actually test that and ensure that happens, because here is a report that is saying investigate the president. Here is an ANC resolution that is saying the president is above reproach. The president is above the law, must not be investigated. So there is no better time for members of the public to understand that our motion as the ATM is in the interest of the people. That is why a secret ballot is important. So members of Parliament can be able to vote with their conscience, having applied their mind on the report, not to be made to defend something they don't know. Because even now, about the ANC MPs, they don't know what happened in Phala. So they are made to defend into bangayaziyo. So we're here as the ATM to make sure that the manner in which the voting must be done today, it must protect members of parliament from defending into that is number one, indefensible, and also defending into bangayaziyo.
Yeah, a few hours to go before 2 p.m. and considering the meeting that you had with these other opposition parties and considering the fact that in the National Assembly it's a numbers game, you're looking at who you've spoken to and how they're going to be voting, and then weighing that with the fact that the ANC MPs make up the majority in the National Assembly, how do you presume things are going to pan out?
For today, the quorum is 134 MPs. A decision will be taken if there's a minimum of 134 MPs. And we note that there are a lot of MPs, especially from the ruling party, who could not be able to make it. So we are positive that based on the quorum that will be there, we'll get the simple majority of 50% plus one.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Vuyolwethu Zungula from the ATM, making it clear that they have spoken to other opposition parties in Parliament, and that they are in actual fact speaking in one voice. They do want to vote in favor of the adoption of that report so as to kickstart the impeachment committee that will further look into the Phala Phala saga. And he's also made his predictions insofar as the numbers in the National Assembly this afternoon. But all of that remains to be seen when members of the National Assembly get to sit and consider the report at 2 p.m. at the Cape Town City Hall.
Live for us in Cape Town, that's our reporter Artim Tongana. Thanks indeed for that update.